Breathe a sigh of relief. You made it to Strongly Financial, a weekly live web series dedicated to elevating your financial literacy and cultivating your overall health and well-being. Your co-hosts are Dr. Michael A. Wright and Ali Leonard. Their respective expertise in holistic wellness and financial consulting positions them perfectly to guide you toward optimal well-being and unrivaled financial success. Please allow me to introduce them further. The incomparable Ali Leonard. As a credit guru, Mr. Leonard has dedicated himself to fostering financial literacy in students of all ages. He has developed a comprehensive credit awareness curriculum that is suitable for elementary, high school, and college students. Mr. Leonard has traveled the country, providing credit awareness seminars to high schools, colleges, churches, and private organizations. Mr. Leonard has worked tirelessly with federal credit agencies, financial services, and real estate agencies, earning a strong reputation for his professionalism and expertise. Mr. Leonard is committed to educating and training consumers as well as assisting them practically to fix their credit. The company he founded, Financial Services Unlimited, offers credit consultation, credit services, and financial services including insurance for financial repair and wealth management. Join his supportive online community, FSU team, empowering you to take control of your financial future. Dr. Michael A. Wright. Dr. Michael A. Wright is a highly accomplished and respected professional in the fields of social work, coaching, publishing, and consulting. With a wealth of experience and expertise, he has dedicated his career to helping individuals and organizations achieve their goals and make a positive impact in their communities. As the CEO and lead executive coach at More Media Group, Dr. Wright specializes in helping individuals tell their stories and translate their ideas into capital. With interventions based on his signature contribution, creating opportunities and changing horizons, the coach method, he continues to focus on trauma-informed, holistic, and transformational approaches to personal and professional development. Join the vibrant online community at wealthcarebymoremedia.com, where he promotes practical habits of health in 4 key domains: brain, body, mind, and spirit. And I am your virtual host, Bartholomew Socrates. You can call me Bart. I introduce the ideas, the segments, and the opportunities as we explore the intersection of health and wealth weekly on Strongly Financial.
Welcome to another episode of Strongly Financial. Today, we are talking about minding your business, not just for your business needs, but also for your fulfillment. And we've got a lot of great information here today for you. And looks like I'm bringing in a guest host today, which makes a lot of sense for us today. So you'll be getting some good information in that vein as well. Some tips and techniques to doing some of the things that you want to do in your life and career. So we're going to get into that after a message from our sponsor, Coach Matrix. We can say it one of 2 ways. Option 1, you're standing in your own way. You are the bottleneck. Or option 2, you're standing in between your present struggle and your future contentment. You are the breakthrough. Both statements hold true, but they diverge in perspective. They also influence how you perceive your past, present, and future. By adopting a trauma-informed approach that acknowledges you as a complex adaptive system, you can unravel the enigma that is your unique self and identify choices aligned with your sustainable development. In other words, you can answer the tough questions. Who am I? What do I want from life? Who is my tribe? The approach is readily available. It's called the Coach Method, created by me, Dr. Michael A. Wright. However, the effectiveness of any intervention ultimately relies on your perspective and the lens through which you see the world. Coach Matrix recognizes that you may not currently possess the empowerment to shape your perspective or color your path within the confines of predefined boundaries. With the support of the Coach Matrix community, you'll sharpen the tools and leverage the guidance needed to navigate your journey towards personal and professional growth. By unleashing your potential and harnessing your natural capacity for change and integration, you can create a present of fulfillment and a future of consistency. Coach Matrix is empowerment. Informed by the well-researched Matrix 5x5 program, Coach Matrix empowers you to identify capacity, harness capability, embrace joy, and foster creativity. You will unlock your full potential and achieve the transformative outcomes you seek. So let's get you empowered. Matrix 5x5 is the program of systematic evolution. Coach Matrix is the community of support. It's all here at coachmethod.com. All right, we are ready to welcome in our friends. And who do we have joining us today? Hey,
Miss Sharifa.
Sharifa's coming in with us today.
Yeah, she's gonna join us. She's gonna join us today.
So is this confirmation that Sharifa is launching her own show soon? That's
yes.
what's going on?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna go ahead and go with it. Yeah, put it out.
We definitely need to do that. So today's topic we discussed a little earlier was earlier this week. We're talking about business and how people need to get into business. It's a big thing about getting more revenue, and it's the story that I'll start with from my side of this equation is not just about starting over, but when things happen. So I know someone who needs a car right now because her car, you know how you say you're going to ride it till the wheels fall off?
Yes.
Yeah, her wheels fell off. So she needs a car. And this, I know you've been in this situation, Brother Ali, yes, where you want to get someone to recognize what you're saying is true, but they can't understand it until they need the information. They need to apply it, but you can't do it now.
Right.
Now you're at the mercy of these buy here, pay here type situations and these high interest rate situations because you didn't put together the planning that I was trying to get you to get in your mind ahead of that. Right. And it's just the most, I don't know if it's even heartbreaking anymore. It's just like I don't know. I don't get it. But I also am different now than I was 7-8 years ago because I would have just fixed it for her. Right. I would have applied my own personal stash, my own personal savings. You know, I put aside money to help people in these situations. Right. But I realized I may be saving people from lessons that they need in order to become who they need to be.
Yep.
And I had to stop
Yes.
that. So that's where I want to start, even as we start to talk about how you structure your business and envisioning your business and that type of thing. I want to speak first to the people who aren't listening to what I'm saying because they're like, I got a job right now. I don't need a business. My car works right now. I don't need a business. What do you say to people about recognizing that it's not always the way it is right now?
Well, individuals need to look at, even though they're looking at right now the present, they're not preparing for things that may happen or going to happen on their journey, and they don't want to hear nothing you got to say, even though you've been through it. You know, at some point in time, if they keep on the same path, that they're going to have this heartache, at the end of the tunnel. But people need to really realize to prepare themselves for things down the road. Whether it be, don't wait until I'm fired before I'm looking for a job or another job or a better job. Don't wait till I quit a job and then say, well, I need to find a job. No, you need to start looking for something better before you leave this opportunity, so you won't kind of miss a beat. Even with these car situations, people who have vehicles that they're comfortable with, but they know that it's not up to par. It's not where it really needs to be. But I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall off, but I don't have no plan. I haven't prepared. I don't know where to go. So now I'm in a deeper situation because now I'm forced to, a lot of times, because my credit is not where it needs to be, which we talked about that. In order for you to qualify for something with a decent interest rate, no money down type of scenario. Now you got to put down a down payment. Now you got to go to these places that's going to charge you 30% interest at these, total note, pay here, buy here type of situation. So, we really hadn't planned for anything down the road. And we need to really look at our situation. But the other piece of that is take the advice of individuals who are experts in their field or who have wisdom and knowledge that's already kind of have, been through this and done this, and not just kind of push them off where, I know what I'm doing, type of scenario.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And let's bring in Sharifa and explain that Sharifa is a health and wellness coach, life coach generally, helping people to work through the issues that are a challenge to them in adopting these new things. One of my favorite people says that therapy isn't for her clients only, it's for her as well. And so that's why she's able to do what she's able to do. So welcome, Sharifa, into this conversation. What's the barrier you see with folks in connecting these pieces? Because it's not just the car, it's health and wellness, it's eating right, it's getting an exercise routine.
Yeah.
You don't need the diagnosis of diabetes before you say, you know what, maybe I should eat better.
Right. So I think in the particular instance that you're talking about with the car situation, more times than none, when your car is not doing right. Okay. When things are not going right. Take advantage of those little nudges that you get, because that just ain't coming, just because it's coming. Be proactive instead of being reactive. You know what I'm saying? Get ahead of it as much as you can. I understand that things as far as money is tight and all that, but if you know that in the future, the really soon future, your car may break down, you need to be putting aside some money for that particular thing or whatever it is that you need to do. Have a plan. That brings on added stress. when you just ignore the little nudges that you're receiving.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It brings on added stress. You know what's going on better than anybody. That intuition thing is real, and it's real for everybody. So pay attention to things, little things like that, and try to get ahead of it instead of behind it. And now you're struggling and you're stressed out because you know your car is broken down or it's going to break down any moment now,
Yeah.
and you just have to put yourself in the right place for when things like that is going on. As far as stress is major, it's so major. I can't even begin to help people understand how much stress is doing to our bodies. And a lot of times we don't receive it as stress because we're always in it. You know what I'm saying? We're always experiencing.
Exactly.
So it becomes a level where it's just here. You know what I'm saying? Now, if something major comes, then it goes up there and then it's all crazy. But when you're used to living at a certain level of stress, then you don't perceive it as stress.
Yeah.
But the body perceives it as stress.
Yeah, really critical. And that's the situation. So, you wake up that morning, nobody thinks their car, at least they don't prepare for their car to break down just before they need to go to work, right? So, she gets up that morning and the car won't start. Now she's got the additional stress of, okay, I got to find somebody to get me to work, and I can't lose my job. Like that's definitely not gonna help the situation. So it's just more stress compounded on a situation. And let's do this for a moment, because this is I think people need to hear what it feels like from the coach's side of this, because I literally just left their house last week, and I was saying, you got to get on. Let's shift from talking about not being broke to talking about how you would like to make money. Mm-hmm. And so this is in true Dr. Michael A. Wright form. I did my little assessment. I said, what do you want to do? And she said, a dispensary. And I was like, perfect, because you like to fool with that product, and you right. That's how we say it. You're right. And you spend a lot of time in those spaces, so you know what people like. You know about THC levels and gummies and edibles and all this stuff. Like, that sounds like a great idea. So the first step is researching what the regulations are, because we're in California. There may be certain stipulations for how you can start right here in your front yard, right? You got a little plot of land, you can grow a certain amount, or you can have a certain number of trees. This is what we need to know in order to get this started. So what I did, just as this is the interesting part from my point of view, as from the coach's side of it, I said, you know what? She's got a really good friend base. What if I assigned each one of her friends a role in the company and built a comic strip, which might even be a web series on the development of her business? And so I came home, I put together the character profiles for the 5 characters. I used AI to create pictures for each of the people and their persona, and put together a comic book to send to her.
Wow.
That's wonderful.
Right? Like, what am I doing? And all of this, I'm just trying to tell you from a coach's perspective, what I was trying to do is give her the incentive, like to say, you're seen. I see you. I see this is something you want to do. How can I motivate you to do it? And also, if it's going to be up to me, if you're not going to do the research, how can I integrate you needing that research into a project that I can work on, like a web series, right?
Right.
And then support you in getting that done. It's just funny from my point of view how you're so engaged as the coach often in supporting what somebody's doing, and you have to, well, at least I do, I have to always bring myself back to, okay, am I doing more work than I should be doing for that client to succeed? How do I get them to get motivated within themselves? So do you guys find that you sometimes get really excited about a client idea or a client opportunity, and then you have to pull yourself back to say, I can't want this more than they do?
I mean, for me, it happens all the time, especially when you're passionate about, what you do, and then you have a passion for people, especially individuals who are not necessarily close to you, but you see potential in them, but they don't see the potential in themselves.
Oh.
Yes.
And so you get more excited for them because now you're putting in really more of the work than you need to put in, and they just sitting back on the sideline, just kind of looking at you, being a cheerleader, but not putting in any effort for themselves. And this is really for them, not for you. You're trying to, to assist and help them to get to that next level and provide them with some expertise, some wisdom, some knowledge, and a game plan or a blueprint for them to get from A to not necessarily Z, but A to L.
Right.
Halfway, So it is frustrating, especially when you start doing this and then you notice that they're not as thrilled about this ideal as you are. And they're not putting in the work themselves. And you have to, and for me, it took me years to be able to do this, to step back and say, you know what, I'm doing too much. I'm not really helping this client. I'm really, handicapping them because I'm doing the work for them. And in order for them to learn this lesson or to be a part of something that's going to grow for them, they got to start putting in some time and work more than what I'm doing. If they're really, excited about the change in their life. See, a lot of people just get stuck where they are. They are complacent. They're comfortable. And that's one of the worst things that can really happen to an individual once they, get set in this certain status and they don't see anything outside of that. And so, in Memphis, FedEx is their corporate office. And, they have, you work for FedEx and unload the planes and this and that. And so many people get into these jobs making this $15, $17 an hour. Yeah. And they there for 20 years. They don't look for nothing better. They don't get exposure that they need. They don't want to transfer out of Memphis to go to, Dallas or Houston or New York or LA, Chicago to get a promotion. They just stuck right here. So those individuals, there's a lot of them. And for us coaches, we got to know where to draw the line. We have to say, okay, you know what? Enough's enough. I mean, I'm doing way more than you, but I'm trying to get you to understand that there's other ways to make money. There's other areas to create additional income, sources of income. But you just, kind of complacent, and I'm not going to get stuck with you and putting too much time and energy in you. Now I'm taking away from my projects, and no.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
For me, though, when I do an exploration call with a client, I'm talking to them and I'm listening to them. And when I get the feedback that I can say, okay, they have potential. They kind of, maybe they're not exactly there where they need to be, but they have potential. That's one of the laws, success laws, law of potentiality. Whatever we see and desire, human beings, we have the potential to make it happen. Sometimes they just need an extra push. And in this situation, sometimes if you give her what you have, maybe that will ignite something in her to say, yeah, I see where you're going. I like this. Let me see what I can do. Now, after you give it to her and she ain't feeling it or ain't trying to use her imagination and to try to do something with it, that's when you start to question, okay, is she there? Or is she really, can she really process this whole thing? Sometimes people just need a little bit of a nudge to say, okay, yeah, I like this. And then belief, that's the other thing. You can't believe for anybody. They have to have the belief in themselves to want to be able to see the project through and believe that they can do whatever it is that they say they want to do. So, I'm sitting back, I'm listening, I'm just taking in what it is they're telling me that they want to do. And then, of course, over the course of time, you're going to be able to see if they're willing to put in the work for what they want. And we're talking back and forth. It's not me. This is not my dream. This is what you said you wanted. So I'm going to stand behind you and I'm going to feed you this little bit and I'm going to see what you're going to do with it. If you can't take it and develop it out into something that you can really see happening for yourself, not for me, then what are we doing?
Yeah. And it's so important to have that homework piece there and make that observation, folks completing that homework. Because you're right. There's that point for a lot of people where they don't know where to start.
Right.
Like that's the thing that I did realize with students a long time ago. I'd say, you just write it up and put the APA style on there and then turn it into the OPS and then you get the STO and you got the SEO. So you got it. I mean, what else? Just put it on a website and make money. And that's not quite like they don't. That's what they heard, right? Because it's not very clear. But helping people with something to start with and then supporting them along the way. Good stuff. Yeah. Let me run through some ideas in like that timely tips kind of thing that we do. And I think this dovetails nicely into what we'll do in the next segment is talk about, okay, let's take this into building a business, because what we've done to this point is say, hey, come on, you need another revenue stream because you need to be thinking ahead and you don't have a savings to tap or a credit base to tap in order to get to this. So we got to get that together. So before we get to that, let's make sure that people are following a plan, which first probe deeply, like really figure out what it is that you want to do, what it is that inspires you, what gets you up in the morning, what you're willing to do research on to find out what the regulations are.
Right.
Next is the L, lay out some objectives, some things that you would like to do, vision kinds of things where you can see whether there is really goals that you can set for yourself.
Right.
The A is next in plan. Get some action steps, some things that you can do, those small steps, like I'm going to call the State House today, or I'm going to find the website for dispensaries and how they operate.
Right.
In multiple states, I can't remember how many it is right now, but we've switched into, I know Nevada and California, those are the two that
they all on board.
Right?
They're the top two.
Get it.
They're the top
Dude,
two.
I was in Vegas last week. I ain't gonna tell you too much. Anyway, moving on. And the end is navigate challenges, because they will come up. So don't try to resist challenges. Don't try to get over on them. Just navigate them, because they're going to be a part of your experience.
Yes, they are.
So that's the plan. We're going to go into our break, if that's okay with you guys.
Yes, yes.
And we're going to get back after the break with our discussion about the business. So now we have a great foundation, a great problem to address. How do we turn that into business, even in this moment where she's really needing a car? How do we still focus on business? The Zoom killer. I always like to say that.
I know it.
Yes, check out the affiliate link that's always on the screen for that advertisement. StreamBeam, very responsive app. We got into it this week and had a couple of things we wanted extra show up. Got in touch with the owner. That's the cool thing about being on the front end of something.
Right.
The support is better than ever at this moment, right? So got it fixed up right away and was able to hit the ground running with that. So StreamBeam, great product.
Yes.
Some great work being done there. All right, so we're going into this next segment, which for me is the challenge of pulling out some best practices as we do every week in this. But this is the hard situation because a lot of us, and this is what you alluded to it earlier, Sharifa, the stress of the situation. And that's what a lot of people live their lives in, perpetual stress. And so here we are coming in saying, okay, but you got to compartmentalize and start to work on these multiple pieces at one time. And she, of course, if she was looking at her situation, no, but I got life to live, number one, because I don't want my life to be consumed with just doing the right thing. Nobody wants to live like that. Like no one wants to eat Brussels sprouts and dry beans. I mean, that would be a health savings and a financial savings, but nobody wants to do that, right?
Yes.
And I got, Dr. Rod, I got kids. I got, situations of romance. I got neighbors. My puppy just had, or my dog just had puppies. Like,
oh Lord.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people have lives, and then my car messes up. So can't you just help me? Can't you just help me? And here I come with, as Dr. Michael A. Wright will do. Well, first, what you need to do is connect your credit and Experian.com and the credit union. If you do a secured loan, nobody's trying to hear.
No, they ain't trying to hear that at that point. No.
I've literally had a person walk up to me and say, will you co-sign for me a loan? And it took me 24 hours. I'm gonna tell you honestly, it took me 24 hours, and I realized that's exactly what she should have done. That's exactly what you do when you need help. You ask for help.
Right.
You see what I'm like? She wasn't wrong. She saw a black man who had his stuff together, and she said, he probably got some good credit. Let me go talk to him for a second. I can't blame her. I can't, because that's the other side of what I do. Because often I'm begging people to ask for help. Like, what is the help you need?
Right.
And then somebody does ask for help. I'm not gonna beat you up. I'll tell you what I said. I said, no, I can't sign for you a loan because I have really good credit. And the reason I have good credit is so that I can sign for you a loan. But that's not what you need. What you need, and that's when I literally did what made fun of. I talked to her about how you get a secured loan. Because and I think this fits with what we're talking about. Because if you have, because she was trying to explain to me that she has the money for a down payment on a car. And I said, well, you can get a car. She said these words, which was the red flag. What kind of car? I said, whoa. Whatever car that you can afford.
Thank you.
It ain't time to be looking at, how you flossing on your friends. And let me not talk about how you're going to have your boyfriend rolling around it. But that's beside the point. What we're talking about is, look, I'm not trying to right? I'm not trying to get your boyfriend some clout, okay?
Right.
But what if you have $4,000 to put as a down payment on a car? Recognize that you can go to a credit union or a reputable bank and get a secured loan and leverage a $4,000 car and pay a lot less than what you would pay at a buy here, pay here place that's going to charge you $13,000 for that $4,000 car.
Right.
And then charge you, as you said, Ali, 30% interest.
Right.
There are ways to maneuver in the context of doing business, as they say these days, standing on business, and do this effectively, as opposed to doing it where you're setting yourself up to being behind.
Mm-hmm.
And even in that scenario, which was a good point that you made to her, but if you got $4,000 and you can go get a car that's $8,000 or $6,000, you have some banks and credit unions that will give you the rest of the money. Yeah, I can do a secure loan with this, but this car gonna cost me $6,000, so I got $2,000 more I need. The banks will finance that. Because you have over 50 or 60% of the cost of this car that they're going to already have in their bank that they're holding. So if you default on this $2,000, they got their $4,000 and the car. So it's a win-win situation for them as well. But people are not looking at it like that. You know what I'm saying? They can't see that logic because, they don't think like that on a continuous basis. But like you said, the other part of it is, even when people that come through our program and they need a car, they want a certain kind of car. Well, I don't want this Toyota or this Nissan or this Honda. I want this Benz or this BMW. I'm dealing with that with one of my clients right now. You know what I'm saying? Well, I want to buy her a Benz. Well, you can't even afford. You're late on the truck that you already have. So I said, I promised her, bro, step back. So people are not thinking logically on that side of it. And that's, I guess, the part that we can come give them some better understanding or show them some options. But it's still, and like we talk about all the time, it's still coming back to the mindset. If their mindset is not fixed or upgraded for them to even look at these options and see how, okay, that makes sense, then they're going to continue to make the wrong decisions that's going to cost them in the end. Mm-hmm. It ain't about what kind of car you want. Now's not the time for that. Now it's the time for you to get something that's going to get you back and forth to work, take the kids to the doctor, you go to the store, whatever the case may be, and then work on a plan to get you down the road what you want once you put these additional income streams or these plans and business opportunities together to where you can get to that part then.
Yeah, definitely. How do we manage that stress? What's the tools and techniques to manage this stress that we're all enduring?
Nurse.
I really think you have to come up with some kind of plan that's feasible for what you have, whether it's doing what he said by going to the bank and seeing if that is something that can be done. And then, you have to understand, I mean, if you got only $4,000, and I'm not sure if she's ready to commit to a car note or not.
Right.
But you have to realize that car note is going to be taking money from you monthly, car note and insurance. So, where are you at with realizing, okay, I have a car note and insurance, and I have these kids, and I got to live, be reasonable. Do you want to cause more of distress down the line? It's just, and then looking at worrying about what kind of car it is. Now, true enough, as a woman, you want something dependable. You don't want to have to be dealing with this same issue a few months down the road. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
So, the main thing that you need to concentrate on is getting something dependable. It doesn't really matter as long as it has four wheels and it drives and it's dependable for you and your kids to get back and forth. A lot of that has to do with what you're seeing and how you're doing with your money now. How are you managing your money right now? If you're just barely making ends meet, you taking that $4,000 out of your household, what's going to happen down the road? Are you ready for that too?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that have to be looked at. Honestly, from her viewpoint, if she's a single mom with kids, taking $4,000, out of the household right now, but you got to have a car, so you're gonna have to make something happen. You're gonna have to make something shake as a mom.
Exactly.
So,
and that's why I think the secured loan is a good way to go, because now you have a credit line. It's secure credit, but it's still a credit line,
right?
And you're not taking the money out of the household, but also the most secure credit lines, that money, that principal put away, earns interest. So you're also getting something back potentially. The money's potentially growing, and that a lot of that is the right bank.
Right.
But literally, that's the situation that is current in California right now. So, and let me just put this out there for people who are not for you guys. Sorry, Texas still hasn't come where they need to be, but we can grow in California. So, and I think I have to make sure. So, full disclosure on this one, that I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think it's 3 plants. So why is anyone buying weed in California that has any plot of land?
You can grow your own.
Like, speaking toward business, like I'm talking about business.
Right.
You don't have to sell. You can keep yourself from buying.
Right.
If you approach this business that I'm talking about in the right way. Because if you can grow it yourself, if I'm right, and somebody check the regulations, but if I'm right that you can have up to 3 plants, I've seen these plants, my friend, and when I was a kid, let me just put my uncles on blast. When I was a kid, they were growing something in the backyard, and I thought a marijuana plant was or a cannabis plant was like a little thing, like looked like a house plant, right? And it was like small, like a dandelion looking thing with different leaves. No, these are whole trees. Like I saw a real tree and I was like, dude, y'all gonna be high forever. Like, that's a lot of weed. So I'm just saying, for people who have the ability to do that, I'm not promoting that you no, I am promoting. I'm not promoting that you start, but I am promoting that if you're all ready, you got to look for ways, like you said, Sharifa, money can't be going out of the house that you could keep.
Right.
And so, you know, I was my car, I don't know how long my car's got, but I gotta get an oil change because it's starting to sound funny, and it's got 160,000 miles.
Right.
Somebody was making fun of me a few months ago. Yeah, he driving old ass Kia Forte. Excuse me, it's not a Kia Forte. It's a Ford Fiesta. Thank you very much. But anyway, I don't care. Like, you can't make fun of me for my car. Like,
no.
I just you would have better luck saying your laptop is old, man. I would be mortified.
Right.
Like, you can embarrass me talking about my computer. You're not going to embarrass me talking about my car.
No.
But I get it. Some people have that different idea about the world. But I say that to say my car is getting old and I'm going to have to replace it, I'm sure. So I looked around what's going on, you know, what kind of car I might want to get. What I figured out, and I think this is the important piece for people in terms of stress, it's going to be like $300 a month if I finance a car. And I can get, because my credit's over 700, I can get the 0% down. I can get the, you know, the and the 0% down and I think something less than 4.9% interest. So the car payment somewhere around 300, especially if I take it over 7 years, which is insane.
Right.
But hey, you know, we'll see. So $300 a month. So my thought is now to look at how I fit an extra $300 into my budget. You see what I'm saying? But here's what came up, and this is what I want you guys to react to. I started thinking about that, and 0% down, $300 a month, and my car still works. I need to buy this car. Because you know what? I need to put it on Turo and have that car making money for me. $300 a month, I'm probably going to bring at least $500 a month, and I'm in a huge market in LA.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So now I'm thinking a little bit about the type of car because I want a car that's marketable. See, it's not my business anymore. This is the whole thing about selling hamburgers and coffee. I'm not going to eat a lot of hamburgers and coffee, but my clients might, right? So now I'm thinking, as opposed to the little creepy Oldsmobile that I might have bought, I might take it up just another notch, $350 a month, put it on Turo, and I might be able to cut that 7 years down to 3 years in terms of payments because I'm smart. And then if my car doesn't go out, I'm in a hugely nice position because I get to use the luxury car when I want to do something, go out of town. Otherwise, that puppy's working for me.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense.
You hear what I'm talking? I'm talking money right now, bro.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
And
see,
like it. Okay.
We love it.
We've tossed that around a few times ourselves.
Yes.
So can I borrow $2,000 because I need the finance money?
You just said zero down.
Right. But no, y'all said y'all down with me. Y'all said y'all like it.
Yeah,
y'all
love it.
agreeing.
We love it. No, I'm just going to send you to a place that's going to guarantee you 0% down and 0% interest or 2% interest. Yes, that's going to help you out. That's going to help you out. But I mean, if people thought more like that, using a product or even a service and turning it into a business that's going to generate some additional income. Same thing, like if I want to get a duplex. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stay in, or we're gonna stay in one side of it. We're gonna rent the other side out. The person that's renting the other side out is really gonna pay for both. So now it's gonna benefit us because now we don't have to pay mortgage or rent anywhere. We stay there for a year, 2 years, stack, and get 2 tenants and go back and do the same thing over again. Even with Airbnbs and so people got to start looking at ways and opportunities that they can really create a business, but still be able to enjoy these items, whether it be a car, whether it be, a house, whether it be, whatever the case may be, a vacation home. It's a lot of opportunities out there. And so we got to start looking at it in a different, a different level.
A perspective.
A different perspective. Thank you. And because it's people that got. Well, I'm going to get me a Benz truck, okay, but I got a car at home, and I just drive this on the weekends. Well, why not let it work for you during the week?
Definitely.
It's gonna pay the note, the insurance, so it ain't coming out your pocket. So when you're ready to jump into it, I can still do that, and it's almost like it's no charge to me personally.
You know what? I had a mentor who always used to say, money is everywhere. You just have to keep your mind open so that you can come into alignment with the money. If you open up your mind, you can see it's everywhere. You just have to be in alignment. You have to get your mind to the place where you can see opportunity because it's there. It's there for you to see it. Just like we just sat here and came up with the Turo, with the Airbnb, with the duplex. Money is there, but I think people get so caught up in their situations, and I can't, I can't say anything about that because I've been there. But you have to learn how to overcome that situation so that you can keep your eyes open to what's around, what's really, really there for you to see. Because we all have situations. We all have stuff that come out the left, out the right, from every which directions.
It's gonna come.
It's gonna come. I was watching a podcast the other day. The guy said, maybe we just should always expect problems.
Yeah.
Expect them. Because when you expect them to come, then you're not caught so off guard when they do come.
Yeah.
I mean, we have intuition. We know we feel these things before they come. That's just another way of being prepared and making yourself ready for whatever's coming. And then if you prepare, then you don't feel so bogged down under the weight of it.
So true. So true. Preparing, so critical. I hate that you saw that podcast. That should have been my podcast. That's exactly what I tell clients. That's my big thing now. That's in my book. The happiness choice is to look at the same way you focus on the small percentage of people that don't like you, or why is she bothered, or the haters over here, or the problems over there. We focus on that. The same energy we put toward that, it is that shift in mindset. Why don't we shift toward looking at the things that are going right, looking at the people that like us, looking at the opportunities that are possible
every day,
asking ourselves the lofty questions. Exactly. Why don't we do that instead? It's the same energy.
Yes.
Just in a different direction.
Oh, you said it there. You said it right there. I told Ali, I was looking at something else. I'm always looking and reading and studying. Faith and fear. It's the same energy. It's the exact same energy, but it's how you choose to look at it.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, you know what? I think we said a mouthful. You guys have anything to leave with as we close out another episode of Strongly Financial?
Actually, this was a really good session. I think it was needed. I think it was beneficial to individuals. I guess next week we can kind of get into these certifications, SBAs and the DBEs and the DBE and the WBEs and the SBEs and all of that kind of stuff. Because
I love it.
It is something that people need to understand the benefits that come behind it. But with this part of it, I mean, I think, a lot of it, I mean, it starts, and we always talk about, man, the mindset is just crucial. It is crucial. Even when we were experiencing things that we were going through before, we didn't have the same mindset as we have now. We didn't have the exposure of, I had the mentors for business, but it wasn't nothing dealing with life in general, you know what I'm saying, of changing my mindset, how to think about this situation. And whatever we're faced with, if we have the right mindset, we can, we can basically deal with anything that's coming to us.
Right. We're empowered. We are here, as human beings, we have the dominion to handle anything. But if you are in a mindset of fear and doubt, then it overcomes you. It just kind of weighs on you. You don't have a way out. On the other hand, if you are in the mindset of power and faith, and I can overcome, then you find a way out. You find a way on the other side of it. Mm-hmm. And so that's what really people have to understand what's really going on with them. And so, it's just being aware. It's about doing the work, the foundation work within yourself to build yourself up to that point.
Wow. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And yes, part 2 next week, Minding Your Business part 2. We're going to get into the certifications more specifically. So you've got these business ideas. You've got, let's say we continue with that analogy of the dispensary, but your dispensary has also opportunities because it's going to be woman, minority owned. It's going to, and all these different things that we'll get into next week.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Right. Thank you, brother.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you.
We enjoyed it. I enjoyed being a co-host. Thank you for inviting me on.
Yes, we'll have you back. All right. Looking forward to it.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.